Welcome to TTV with the weekly roundup of the most important news from Mauritania. I'm your host, Najah Taha. Mauritanian President Mohamed Ould Sheikh Al Ghazouani arrived in Seville, Spain on Saturday evening to participate in the 4th International Conference on Financing for Development, organized under the auspices of the United Nations in partnership with the European Union and other global stakeholders. The summit, attended by over 70 heads of state and government, seeks to map out a roadmap for performing global financing systems for sustainable development under the Seville Pledge initiative aimed at fostering economic justice and addressing escalating global challenges. Key topics include the reform of international tax system, mobilization of climate finance, and restructuring of sovereign debt, issues that are of vital concern to both developing nations and donor institutions. The investigative unit of Mauritania's Central Office for Combating Migrant Smuggling and Human Trafficking has dismantled a transnational network involved in illegal migration. The group, led by an African national and supported by 3 foreign accomplices, was using a concealed location to hide victims. A raid resulted in the rescue of 31 individuals, including 1 Mauritanian citizen. Foreign victims were transferred to a dedicated shelter pending repatriation, while the Mauritanian was placed under family custody. Authorities also seized equipment believed to be used in maritime smuggling operations. President Mohamed Ould Sheikh Al Ghazouani has called on Mauritanian copper mines to comply with strict environmental and social standards throughout its production chain. The appeal was made during a meeting with MCM CEO Tony Bird, which addressed areas of cooperation in the mining sector and reviewed the company's ongoing copper extraction and processing activities. Discussions also explored strategies to enhance value addition and bolster the mining sector's contribution to national economic development. During the government's weekly press briefing, Minister of Economic Affairs and Finance Sid Ahmed Ouelabba announced that Mauritania has successfully mobilized $2 billion in development funding secured during recent high-level meetings in Vienna. The minister attributed this achievement to the growing international confidence in Mauritania's robust and transparent economic reform agenda, stating the country now enjoys strong credibility on the global stage. The Arab Coordination Group pledged the full amount at high-level roundtable in support of sustainable infrastructure and investment reforms under the government's My Ambition for the Nation strategy. At its latest session, Mauritania's Council of Ministers approved several strategic decrees, including the Simplified General Urban Planning Code for municipalities aimed at streamlining compliance and construction licensing. The cabinet also established a new public institution, the National Office for Mauritanian Airports, to oversee civil airport operations in preparation for the expiration of the current airport management contract by year's end. Additionally, the cabinet appointed a new board of directors for the National Printing Press. The Minister of Finance presented the 2026-2028 medium-term budget framework, reaffirming the government's commitment to transparency and fiscal sustainability, while the Ministers of Foreign Affairs and Interior provided briefings on international affairs and the domestic situation. Mauritania has officially become the 103rd full member of the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, following the formal submission of its membership documentation during the AIIB Board of Governors meeting in Beijing, held in celebration of the bank's 10th anniversary. The Mauritanian delegation, led by Budget Minister Neganyor Moussa Kadioro, included the ambassador to China and the minister's advisor to the private sector. Finance Minister Sid Ahmed Ouelabba was appointed as Mauritania's governor to the AIIB, with Fatimatu bint Horma named as alternate governor. The strategic assessment aims to boost Mauritania's access to international infrastructure funding and foster stronger public-private investment partnerships. A Euronews report has raised concerns over the alarming decline of Mauritania's fish stocks, despite the country hosting some of the world's richest fishing grounds. The report highlights the growing threat to national food security and the livelihoods of hundreds of thousands, citing testimonies from traditional fishermen in Ouadhibou who reported dwindling catches and rising fuel costs. The government has responded by reducing the number of industrial vessels and closing certain fish meal factories. The report also underscores the significance of Mauritania's partnership with the European Union under a sustainable fishing agreement that includes annual funding and institutional support. Researchers warned that reducing fish mortality by 60% is critical to recovery, concluding that safeguarding the country's marine wealth is essential for its future. End of the news roundup. Follow our digital platforms or visit our website www.taqaddumi.mr.